to the Universe is Talking podcast. I'm your host, King.
And I'm your host, Aja, who's not going to go first.
This is episode 10 of season 3, and today's topic is healthy sex.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go. I didn't agree to go first, but King has put me in a position where I have to talk about this topic first. And it's likely because I'm the one that brought this to him. I just don't remember why. um, this is the time of year. Actually, it starts in January. We all know it. New Year's resolutions. And people really get focused on their health. They get focused on the food that they're eating. They get focused on maintaining physical exercise. They may even make changes for their mental and emotional health. Um, this is when you talk about people not going into the new year with old dead weight, not fucking with certain kind of people, wanting to achieve certain goals. You hear it. But if you're paying any attention, they still are often fucking the same dicks that they were fucking the year before. And I surmise that you cannot truly make a healthy change with yourself if you still are messing with unhealthy dick. So that's the topic. Putting good things in your body, good food, good attitude, good education, and good dick. And if you're a man, fucking healthy pussy, right? That's the topic.
Yep, that's the topic.
It's not easy to know what a healthy dick is when you first meet it. You just know the guy. You just know who he is, or you're trying to get to know who he is. But healthy dick with a healthy person, it usually goes hand in hand. If he's a healthy person, and I don't just mean physically, not just what he consumes, but his attitude, his behaviors. If he's out fucking anything, anybody, in any situation, if he just does not have discretion, then that's not healthy dick. Okay. And not just because it has the potential to physically harm you, but it has the potential to emotionally harm you if you're not cool with a guy fucking around with any and everybody. And anything that's going to impact your mental, um, your physical health is just why does the camera look funny? I look
I don't see
different.
it.
Um, just being with someone who is not concerned with you and isn't making decisions that help benefit you or making decisions that could harm you is an unhealthy dick. And you should not be fucking it. You should just not be fucking it.
Should
I
she
re-
suck it?
she shouldn't put it in her body at all. She shouldn't do it. Like, I think we cannot just focus on what we eat. We've got to focus on all the things that we do with ourselves, all the things that we place inside of us as a woman. Okay, so going back to some fundamentals with when it comes to sexual and reproductive health, right? A woman, our sex organs, for the most part, are inside of our body. Okay. Everything that's like very important to our health is inside of us, is catered inside. A man, his penis is outside of his body. His balls, once he matures, are hanging outside of his body. So we are built differently. But what's important about what I said is that everything it's inside. Our sex organs are inside of us. Our reproductive organs are inside of us. So when he places his penis inside of you, you have no barrier. He is placing everything inside of you. Whatever he got, he's giving it to you. All right. So if that's some bullshit he got, that's going directly inside of you. This is why when women contract STDs, we often do not know. We don't know that we got something that's nasty inside of us. And it does so much damage. You hear of women who are unable to procreate, they're unable to have children now because of some case of gonorrhea or chlamydia that occurred, I don't know how long ago, that had the potential to scar their ovaries, their fallopian tubes. You know, I'm sorry if that's you. But, you know, like, because you were messing with a nasty dick. And you know, you do not always know that it's a nasty dick, but you got to pay attention to the signs. And some of the signs are that he's not willing to get tested before you start to have sexual intercourse without protection. He's not willing to show or prove that he is a healthy status. And I guess that starts with you first. Being concerned with what you are putting in your body, being concerned that this person has a healthy body before they place it inside of you. So it starts with you.
If it ain't no paperwork being brought to the table, this whole fucking show got to end at that point. Then
It does. When you are sexually active people, you've got to be concerned with what you're bringing into this particular arrangement. And I would say, even if you are planning to use rubbers, because you're going to do a whole lot of other stuff that rubbers aren't going to have no place with. Like,
if you're doing the right stuff.
Yeah. and, you know, like, I'm not going to teach you how to have sex in this episode. We're not going to do that. I'm assuming you know how. And I'm assuming you know how to please a man and that he knows how to please you. We've talked about that so many times during each season. But I'm assuming that by now you know how to do these things. But I would also hope that you take some time and consideration to make sure that this partner that you have selected is healthy enough to come into your situation. And we're just really focusing in this moment about physical health. But if he is not right, like if his emotional health is off, if he's just on some bullshit all the time, that's not good for you. We've talked about this so many times, like how the people that we're dealing with and their consideration or their inconsideration of us, how that impacts us, and the things that we've got to do to maintain our own health. But part of that is stopping it before it begins. Not getting involved with unhealthy people, not getting involved with unhealthy dick. I know that sex is a wonderful thing, and it is not everything. No, it's not everything. But when you find someone that can give it to you the way that you really, really like and you love, it feels like everything when you're with that person. But if it's unhealthy, I don't care if he got all the thrust moves right. I don't care if he knows how to suck it, you know, suck your nipples and your clit right. I don't care. I mean, we care, but if it's unhealthy in the long run, that's not someone you should be entertaining. You should not let that person inside of you because you have such a precious vessel. You are precious. So you cannot just be concerned with drinking your smoothies and eating your kale and all your little lettuce wraps and you know, making sure that
Your flat
you
tummy tea. Don't forget the flat.
yeah, you can't just be concerned with just that. Because if you do all that and you shed all that dead weight, all the fat that you are concerned about getting rid of, if you once you do all that, but then you call him over and you let that nasty nigga inside of you. How is that a healthy existence? It isn't. Be concerned with the whole thing. He is a big part of your health. And if he's bringing some nasty stuff to you, and I just don't mean just physical, I mean his whole entire experience, his being, if it's bad for you, then let that go too.
If he ain't washing his ass, it's bad for you.
You know, hygiene, we assume that these things are taught to everybody, right? But I gotta tell you, you know, you spend enough time around people, even without sexual context, you spend enough time around people, you realize that we all have different hygiene practices. And having different hygiene practices doesn't necessarily mean that the other person isn't doing it right. They're doing what they were taught. And if it's working for them, then that's fine. But it's important to pay attention to people's hygiene before you start putting your penis inside of that cooch. It's important to pay attention to their hygiene before you allow their penis inside your body. I mean, I've seen people that I thought I would be interested in, but when I was looking at their behavior, I was like, that's going to be a dirty dick. And I'm not letting a dirty dick inside of me because then I'm going to be a dirty person. And you really got to think like that. If this person is not concerned with their dental health, if they're not concerned with their physical health, if their belly button stinks, if they're not washing their crack,
that's a nasty motherfucker.
When you talk to somebody and like they're not sick or there's no good reason for them to not have gotten in the shower, and it's like, you know, it's a certain time of day and you're like,
you need to shower more when you're sick. Actually, I was just sick a couple months ago, and I was home. It was 3-4 showers to try to help me.
Showers make you feel better when you sick.
Right, actually. Exactly. Hell yeah, it do. That's steam therapy.
And just feeling clean. Like I feel like whenever I get clean, I actually psych myself into thinking that I'm better. And I will feel better for a little bit. And then I start to move around and it's like, oh, okay, I'm actually still sick. But like that cleansing is such an important aspect. I agree. I'm with you. But some people, when they're sick, they just kind of lay low and they stay in the bed. So I'm not going to judge people who, you know, they're not going nowhere. They're not bothering nobody. You keeping your, you know, stinky ass in the bed. Okay.
You got 2
not
feet.
My preference.
Got 2 feet. I don't care if you got to get rolled to the shower. You better wash your ass.
But if you're not paying attention to their hygiene and you're getting ready to have sex with them, you know, like I like to hear conversations where people say, I'm talking about during my dating.
You just reminded me. I completely walked away from some pussy because her little funky ass was in my goddamn room stinking. Naked, wide open. I walked away from the whole shit and never thought twice. I got an echo for some reason, but yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Men.
You got to find a reason, like a way to exit that. I mean, I wouldn't want to be that girl with you because I know you well enough to know that yours might not, like the way that you exit that is not going to be too nice. But see, I'm nice. You know, I'm a nice person.
Ain't nothing nice about the dick walking out the room on your naked ass. There's no nice way to do this. You chose to bring your little funky ass, nasty ass pussy over here. So my dick has a decision to make, and we always gonna choose no. We not about to take any chances whatsoever. It's not gonna happen. I got too much on the line to take any risk with you and your funky ass pussy. Clearly, washing it is not the solution in this scenario. It's something living inside of it. You and it need to exit my goddamn house, and you will never be invited again. Therefore, she was never invited again.
That's smart. And you know what? King actually brings up a good point about the whole, you know, it's being deeper than the washing up part. What we consume has an impact on everything. You know, like I'll never forget as a little girl being in school and they would have them little pieces, the little square pieces. And later on in the day when I would be with my mom, she would go, "Did y'all have spaghetti or pizza or something?" And I would go, "Why?" She was like, the garlic. Like she could always smell the garlic that was coming off of me.
Her little baby was coming home funky.
Like garlic, yes.
Mm.
And I could not smell it, but
Yeah.
she could always smell it. And now that I'm a mom, and even not even just being a mom, like even being around anybody, like I can tell when because my nose is so sensitive, I can tell when they've had garlic. Like I smell that shit coming off of you. So what we eat though has that ability to come out of our pores, and not just our pores. It has the ability to come out through our vaginas, through the mucous membrane, through the secretions that we're letting out. It has the ability to do that. So if we are not consuming fruits and vegetables, if we're not eating healthy foods, and we're only eating like a poor diet, that's going to come out. If we continue to allow these men inside of us that have poor diets and poor sexual practices, those things are going to impact our vaginal health, our pH. We're going to have BV, yeast infections. There's all kinds of things that could happen to us because, again, I said our stuff is inside. It's inside. So if he's putting stuff in there and he's not agreeable with us, then our vagina is impacted. And then when we go to see someone like King, who actually cares about what's laying in front of him, he's going to be like, take that somewhere else. And quite honestly, you should know your body. You should know that it's not in a good condition to be taken to anybody. You need to get it right. You either need to see a physician or speak to your herbalist or, do a sitz bath. You got to do something. Get yourself straight before you participate in sexual activity because your vaginal health is not okay. Get that straight. That's all I'm going to say about that, I think.
That's cool. Machiavelli wrote, and I mentioned this earlier in the season, so now we are finally here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my fellow brethren, we go to the gym, we work out in some form of compassion. We go to the park, we walk, we go running, we jump and rope. We eating good, eating the greens, drinking nothing but water, conscious body, healthy mind, all of that. Salute to you. But you got one problem. You still fucking them pill popping hoes. You are still fucking them pill popping hoes. And I know it because you a healthy motherfucker. But when you walk, you be stumbling all over the place. You don't have your balance the right way. It's them pill popping hoes, and you can't look me in my eyes and tell me any different. I know this for a fact. I've studied this topic for a reason. A sign that you are fucking pill popping hoes is immediately after you exit this little pill popping hoe ass. You don't feel the same way you felt when you arrived. Your mentality is completely different. You can't focus the right way. You feel dizzy. I really did my research in this particular chapter of Machiavelli's book, The Prince, by the way. You feel dizzy. Might take you a day or two to recover. Is not the pussy that you need to recover from. It's the pill popping hoe who carries this pussy that you need to try to recover from. It's a sad state to see you in, homeboy. I pray that you find the strength to leave them pill popping hoes alone. Life will be so much better for you once you arrive at that part of your life. What's the point? Oh, that's a nice banner. Machiavelli would love that banner a lot. Anyway, what's the point of being so healthy and health conscious if you're going to keep fucking a pill popping hoe that's not on the same health tip that you're on? You're completely destroying your entire healthy lifestyle by continuing to fuck with these pill popping hoes. Now, I understand it gets wild in the bedroom with these pill popping hoes. They do things that non-pill popping hoes may not tend to do
because they can't feel nothing.
Exactly. They don't feel nothing. They don't really hear nothing. That little dance session that she may be putting on is a little more extended because her little pill popping ass done popped the right pills. So she forgot that she's in the bedroom and not in the goddamn club. But you just chilling because you ain't popping no pills. You might be sipping on a little something. So you feel a little entertained until you realize that you entered her and then exited her. And now, again, you are feeling very mentally cloudy. You can't make a decision one way or the other. If you got a ride home, the ride home might be a little foggy to you mentally. I don't know who Machiavelli was fucking with, but this particular chapter was a little bit too crazy for me. But I went through the whole chapter. I read the entire chapter. I took my notes and my research for this particular topic. And I just seriously want to encourage my fellow brethren to please, at some point, when you are ready, when you find the strength, because another thing about them pill popping hoes, the quality of their fruit might be a little, we might be grading it on the curve a little bit, you know, the endurance that the pill popping pussy has. It might have a little more endurance, but she's on what they call it in sports, they call it performance enhancing drug. She's on that pussy is on a performance enhancing drug. It ain't the same. We can't grade it the same. We got to grade it with the performance enhancements as a part of the grade.
This is irritating.
You know something? This is very serious shit. Another way that you could tell that you fucking with a pill popping hoe, when she's sucking your dick but is not wet at all, she's giving you some dry dick sucking. That's a pill popping hoe. Her mouth is dry. There's no moisture whatsoever.
Or she's smoking weed.
I didn't get to that chapter in Machiavelli's book yet. I'll comment on that when me and Machiavelli come across that path. Hopefully it'll be this season, because next season there's no more Machiavelli. But when you find yourself getting your dick sucked and you are not enjoying it because there's no moisture at all, she's giving you a dry dick suck, and you've never had your dick sucked in a dry manner, a dry environment ever in your life, you fucking with a pill popping hoe. And there must be some serious consequences to her actions at this point. I suggest you probably give her a lifelong ban. You've been working hard inside the gym and outside of the gym, and the way that she rewards you is to suck your dick dryly. Can't be that way. It cannot be that way. You was not put on this earth to have your dick sucked dryly. You don't lift the weights that you lift. You don't run the miles or even walk the miles. You don't eat the healthy food, vitamins, herbs, etc., the way that you do for your lifestyle, to choose to fuck with this pill popping hoe. Because yes, it is a choice that you have made. You could have fucked with a holy woman, a spiritual woman, one of the Muslim women that don't even show shit. You could have fucked with her, but you chose to fuck with these pill popping hoes, and now you find yourself wanting to cry because this dick sucking experience don't feel good. I feel bad for you, but I don't feel bad for you because you knew better. You knew she was popping them fucking pills, and you still chose to fuck with her.
I think we're easily deceived. You know, men and women, we're easily deceived.
I'm upset that Machiavelli had to go through this. I felt his pain in those words in this particular chapter. I am happy that he turned his life around now. I am very happy that he did make that decision. But in that chapter, it was pretty bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like I was saying, we're easily deceived by what we see. You know, people put on a really good front about themselves, and you can't go by the veneer. You cannot go by the veneer of anything. That's just the surface. You got to dig deeper if it matters to you. You know, there are different stages and phases of life where we don't care about certain things. Sometimes it's just about having a good time. And in having a good time, we don't stop to consider that this person doesn't have a healthy penis environment.
Mm-hmm.
That the peen is not,
Mm-hmm.
100% top grade peen. That may not be our concern at certain stages of life. We may just be focused on having a good time. How can he fuck us? Can he fuck us good? But I don't know. I mean, like,
Is he bringing you pill popping whole side effect dick?
so this is why I was saying in the beginning of all of this that it matters not just about the physical health, at least from the surface, what we know of his physical health. His behaviors will tell us a lot about the potential side effects of his behavior. If he's someone who doesn't have discretion, doesn't exercise discretion and caution, because, like, let's say he didn't do it with you, he didn't put you through no type of testing, he didn't ensure that you were a healthy candidate. If he did not do that with you, then he is not doing it with anyone.
All right, look, wait, pause, because I know,
No,
I know,
no, we're not pausing. We're not pausing because
but I
I
just want to
think
say something, though, right? Because you're right. Let me start there. You are correct. You are correct. But
it's a potential. Like I
if she
said,
got the right dress on
see,
and she walking around flaunting that ass in that right dress, she needs to get fucked right then and there. It's a risk he's taking. It's a risk that she's taking. But sometimes the mood and the environment calls for her to get fucked right there. Because first and foremost, who the fuck she thinks she playing with this fucking dress on? Like he won't fuck her wherever he sees her at.
is this a stranger?
I assume they have some type of chemistry. I haven't gotten to this particular part of the book, but just what I've read so far, I assume that Machiavelli has had some type of history with this woman. Maybe the condom was on previously, but on this particular day, because of this particular dress, she just needs to get fucked right now. They'll get to the testing of each other later, and hopefully everything comes back clear. But for this moment, right now, this second, who the fuck she thinks she playing with? Like, this dick won't be in her right now, this second. That's how men think. I'm just speaking for how men think. That's all.
And I think that we've all been in situations where things were so intense that there wasn't enough time.
Intense. That's a good word.
Intense. There was not enough time to go through the typical motions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Okay. It
mm-hmm.
has happened. It is not ideal. It's not
Correct.
ideal for your health, is what I'm saying.
That's correct. Yeah.
It could be ideal for the experience in that moment, especially if it lives up to everything that you wanted it to live up to in that moment. Because the worst is when you make a spontaneous decision and the person is truly spontaneous. You
Right.
know what I mean?
But the best is if you make that spontaneous decision and it just so happened to work out for you. I'm talking to him. You might as well just marry the pussy now. You took your chance. You got lucky. You hit this home run. You might as well just marry the pussy then. Fuck.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But if all is well, if you find out that this person is everything after all of that, then okay, go ahead and marry the person. But we've talked enough on this show for our listeners and watchers to know that, or viewers, to know that people will reveal who they truly are over time. So having wonderful, intense moments, being able to impress someone within the first few months is not a strong indicator of who they're going to be over time. So I'm just being the Debbie Downer here and being the serious one to say, don't go marrying somebody that, wet your dick and made you feel good.
I ain't
When
telling her
it's
to marry her. I said marry the pussy.
okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. But outside of there being intense moments that we make these rash decisions that sometimes end up okay, but there are some horror stories of, people ending up burned because they put their dick in somebody and they had something. Or now she got crabs and because there's stuff out there, to be honest, there's some stuff I don't, like I really wish that I grew up during my mom's time of being a young person when the worst was something that you could just take a pill for and get over it. Whereas now they got stuff that don't go away. Like genital warts don't go away. I'll never forget learning that.
Yeah.
Sex ed, learn about all of the sexual diseases really made me very cautious about who I had sex with, because when I learned there was shit that was not going nowhere, there was no medication that would rid myself of it.
It scared your little ass, didn't
It
it?
scared me. And this is me like this is before I started to have sex. It scared me because you mean to tell me that I'm going to there's going to be something growing on me that down there, and it will never go away, or it might go away for a little bit but it will come back. I'll never rid myself of this. And I was reading something recently where they were talking about how people get cold sores and how it's the same virus as because it's a herpes, that's the herpes and stuff. And it's just a different one, it's a different strand of the virus or whatever. But that once you have it, you'll always have the ability to pop out into cold sores and stuff. And somebody, I was watching a discussion and they were like, just about everybody has it. And I was like, not me. I ain't never had a cold sore. I've never had a cold sore. But if I was dating, now I'm gonna have to ask this somebody, have you ever had a cold sore? Because I know I don't want one. I don't ever want to have a cold sore in my life. I don't want herpes popping up on my lips because of some shit you done did. And they were like, but it's not the same as the STD. It don't matter. I don't want nothing that's going to be sitting there just waiting for me to just get upset and then pop up on my lip and I got a herpes on my lip for the rest of my life. And that's how I feel about my vagina. I don't want things that I can't get rid of. Matter of fact, I don't want nothing. I don't want any STDs. I don't want no BV. People talk about that like it's nothing.
Oh, that shit is something.
Huh?
That shit is something.
It is something. Y'all need to stop fucking with these dicks that are not in agreement with your body. That's just first and foremost. If you have sex with this person and your body is rejecting it, now your vagina is sad. It's sad. Okay? It's sad. It's crying. It's crying out for help. You got cottage cheese, or it's smelling, all this stuff that could go wrong with a vagina. It's doing it. And the only thing you've been doing differently, you ain't changed soap. You haven't changed how you wipe your ass. The only thing that you can point to is this new nigga. Bye. Your vagina intends to be with you for the rest of your life. You and her are going to be the bestest friends if you don't know that yet. She will go through everything with you. She needs you to take care of her, girl. Him, he's he's not going to be there till the end of time. You know how I know? Because he's not even taking care of you. A man that is giving you some nasty dick is not going to be a man you carry into your future. How and why is it nasty? Because he's dipping in multiple vaginas. He's dipping in the pill popping. He's dipping into, the chick that don't wipe right. He's dipping into somebody who's eating wrong. He's picking up all that bacteria, some of it good bacteria, but just ain't your bacteria. Okay, if y'all don't know these things, y'all need to have some sort of sex ed. Your body is like an organism, and it loves itself, but it does not love other people. And when it doesn't love the person you're having sex with, it's a sign this person's not compatible. Because if they ain't compatible with sex, they're not even going to be compatible with having babies with. Your body's telling you. It's telling you, get rid of this dick. And you better listen. You don't want to be funky. A good, healthy dick will only make you feel great. Your vagina will sing praises, shout, hallelujah. It's going to be wet and healthy and happy. It's going to be smelling great. It'll give you everything when you got good dick. But you put something bad in it, you're going to be complaining all the time. Now your cramps is worse. He's supposed to be taking the cramps away, and here you are, worse. Not only that, he's stressing you the fuck out. So you drinking and smoking more, doing all this shit that it's not even good for you. And now I got the question, where are your decision-making skills?
Fucked up because of that dick she's sucking and fucking.
I'm going to tell you, if I was a guy and I was observing a woman who is in this cycle with nasty dicks, I'd have to decide I'm not putting my dick in her. And it should be the same. You should be observing him. If his behavior is reckless, do not choose him as a partner. And try your best to not wear that orange dress or yellow dress around him where he thinks, oh, she got to get fucked right now. Consensually.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just don't be around him because you don't want that stuff. Because some of this stuff is more complicated than BV. Some of this stuff is more complicated than your pH just being thrown off a little bit. Some of this stuff you won't get rid of. You're not getting rid of genital warts. Now, for the rest of your life, you have genital warts, and you got to tell everybody that you ever will have sex with. Just so you know, I'm under treatment for genital warts. You have to tell them. You owe it to them. Same with herpes. And I don't even want to think about HIV. But why? Why be with somebody you can't be sure if they're not bringing you that shit? So when you're focused in January every year about changing your lifestyle and you want to change what you eat, you eating all the right food, and you want to change your behaviors, you want to make better decisions, you want to hang with different kind of people, you want to maybe even change your career, you may want to travel more, you may want to save money, there's all this stuff that you're planning to do. You also need to be thinking about the type of men or women that you are bringing into your lives, that you are bringing into your physical self. This is serious talk. We can play about it all we want, but again, some of that shit ain't going nowhere.
When you have your doctor visits, you should include in your doctor visits and your health exams, Doc, I'm fucking pill popping hoes. Or doc, I'm no longer fucking pill popping hoes. So that way the doctor can give you a real serious medical exam update on your health, letting you know how physical you are or are not. Because the scale can say whatever it can say. Your blood levels, your blood pressure, all of that can say whatever it say. But if you fucking pill popping hoes, you are not disclosing all of the information that your doctor needs. I'm sure that your doctor won't diagnose you the same if your doctor's aware that you have this pill popping hoe habit in your life. You might need a prescription to get off of this habit.
That's actually kind of a serious thing. I think we get to this place where when we go to our physician and they ask us questions about, changes in our lives, we're less likely to tell people things because we're afraid of being judged. But it's your fucking doctor. Like, it's your fucking doctor. Your doctor does not, well, first off, your doctor has seen everything. And it ain't helping you to hide the stuff that you got going on because they can't help you if you not telling the truth about what you're doing. That's first off. But you have to communicate that you are having sex. Number one, that you're having sex. When they ask you if you're having sex, tell the truth. When they ask you, do you have any new partners? When you go see your gynae and she asks you, do you have any new partners? Tell the truth, girl. Tell it. Yes. Why? So that you could just automatically receive, screening. You need to be screened. I didn't even mention HPV. I'm telling you, you are such a sensitive vessel. And these men are putting their shit inside of you. Whatever he got going on, you got it now going on. And you not getting rid of it like he is. He goes to his doctor, he gets a pill. You're walking around thinking you're fine, even though, something's a little off and you feeling like something's off. It may be more serious than that. You need to tell your gynae. When you start adding people, you need to go and say, I have a new sex partner. Or when she asks you, you have multiple, don't lie. She does not really care. She doesn't care that you have multiple sex partners. You know what he or she cares about? What you're doing to stay safe while having all those people. When she asks you, are you having anal sex? Tell the truth. Be honest. When she asks you, are you using protection? Don't lie, because she knows. People slip up. Some people just don't do it. Tell the truth. This way you can get checked.
I imagine when women go to see their gynecologist and magically their pussy has a glow inside of it that it's never had before, the doctor automatically knows that there's some new healthy dick that's treating this pussy the right way.
I'm not going to give too much of myself away, but I will say that I have had a situation where I'm just going to say it differently. Yes, they know. They know when things have changed. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to say.
Before we end this, I just want to say that once we end this, you should go to your husband and hug him very tightly and thank him for helping you escape unhealthy dick that's in this world. You should really hug him and thank him.
You talking about me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Because you could have been in the dangers of trying to filter out these unhealthy dicks that's out here, but that man rescued you from the unhealthy dicks in the world and has given you a wonderful lifestyle. You should really thank him and hug him.
I'll thank him. Mm-hmm. And I had to go through, I guess, filtering out prior to meeting him. But
the filtering process nowadays You see it on social media too. It's a completely different monster from back then.
It's a similar monster. I'm not that old.
No, you're not that old, but the game changes every 3-4 years for no apparent reason.
The
And
game changes. The game changes. It does a tad bit, but I can tell you that I still was having sex during a period of time when people were not using discretion. Them same diseases. There isn't a new disease out now that wasn't out when I was having sex with multiple people. All that shit is still there. People were still fucking people they didn't have no business fucking. I'm just saying the fundamentals of sexual behavior was the same. The difference is that now everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about what they're doing now. Whereas we did what we was doing.
You ain't never had no dick. You ain't never had no dick that had you believing that the father died, the brother died the same week, and then 3 weeks later, the uncle died. He had his foot cut off, but then it grew back. You ain't never had that type of dick that made you run to Twitter and tell that story. That dick you ain't had.
The difference is, this is the big difference though. It's just that Twitter wasn't there for us to tell all the shit we were doing, which was the great thing. Nowadays, people get on social media and they tell their whole story. And then they tell it in bits and pieces. And then when anybody says anything about it, they'll go, well, I ain't tell you everything. You don't know all that stuff about me, but we know enough.
I don't know enough. Then tell me the rest. Don't tell me.
I'm just saying, like,
don't tell me the whole thing.
When I was running, and doing my little bit of running, you didn't talk to nobody about it. If you told anybody, you told your girlfriends. That's if you wanted to share your dick stories. I was never one of them people, because honestly, and I've said it on here, I've pretty much always had, I got like some sort of sixth sense. I know a good dick before I even get to the dick. I would know. Okay. So like all my experiences were experiences I definitely wanted to keep to myself. You was not going to know what I had in him. Okay. That was going to be all mine. Okay. We were not going to have a conversation about why I'm continuing to see him. Just know I'm happy. But I'm not sharing the why. You're not going to know my moves. But now it's like everybody, if they want attention for who they got and who they doing and what they got. Everybody wants to talk about it. But no, back then, no, nobody didn't have a place for it. So you just had to tell your friends. And then it was more so rumors, because there was no proof. And that's the other thing. We didn't have text. There was no DMs. There was nothing. So there was no screenshot and shit. It just had to be your word against somebody else's word. And somebody had to see you somewhere. And there were no camera phones. So there was no way that they even had proof. So again, when dudes could really say, but that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't there. She lying. And it you might actually believe it because there was nothing. There was no proof. It was just words. And sometimes people was lying because they was mad because they figured out that the reason why you wasn't talking about what you had was because shit, his dick is big. And you keeping out a secret. Yeah, I'm keeping it a secret, chick. That's my dick now. Okay. So yeah, I loved sex in, what was that, the 90s and early 2000s. Sex was great and relationships were fun. I'm not saying that you guys, those of you who are navigating the dating scene now aren't having some fun, but I definitely think you all have a different set of pressures. Some of you have a different set of pressures that you are applying to yourselves because there's so much attention that you all feel you need with social media. You got to share your relationship. And even when you're not sharing it, you're saying that you're not sharing it. And a lot of times it's because you're not confident about it. You don't even know whether you can post this dude because everybody else might then step up and say, oh, that's my nigga too. But it's like you want to talk about it because the world needs to know that you have it. But back when we were doing our things, nobody knew. You had to see us out to know that that was my boo or I was his boo. And I just liked the dating experience then. It was just, to me, it was real. It was a real relationship between people. It was what we had, and nobody had to know about that. And when they knew about it because we were showing them, we were actually stepping out together. And it wasn't just, us posting our shit. But you know what I'm trying to say.
I got you. Take us home.
So I enjoyed this conversation, even though I wasn't positive how we were going to make it work. But that's what we've been saying all season. We've just been ourselves and just kind of sharing our thoughts and our feelings about the things that we're experiencing in the world. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them below on wherever the platform is. If you're listening on Spotify, we'll be adding a poll. Please respond to that poll. We like to hear from you, definitely. So until next time, take care.